You have to understand how things are.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted the Learn As You Grow podcast to do. I wanted us to get to listen to it and think and learn as we listen and learn as we grow. I spoke with Jabari 911, my man Evolite, and both of them said the same thing, like just of kicking it for them 3 hours for the whole podcast, and then going back over it. I could say for myself firsthand that I learned so much, whether it be about recording the podcast, whether it be about having guests on the podcast. And I'm gonna break everything down, but it was just an amazing episode. And I gotta thank my homie from Japan, Sawalu ONSOWELU.OO.INA. She's the one that put me down with Jabari 911, and it was probably about 4 hours before it was time to record, and I only had about 2 hours to listen to whatever he had going on and decide whether or not if he was the right candidate for to put on the podcast. And sure enough, after listening, it was crazy because I listened to one song, and it was more of I guess maybe should I say like alternative type R&B style. I don't even know what to call it, but he was singing on there, and then I heard another song where he had bars, and he killed it on some spitting bars. And then I heard another song where it was a whole different type of genre that I don't even know what to call it. And I knew from there, like, yeah, I gotta get this kid on the podcast. And come to find out right away that Jabari grew up in the church, and he learned music through the church. If you listen, you would know that he said that the church is what influenced him to do music at first, and the only things that he really ever listened to musically was church music. And he said that that being in the church helped him grow and learn from being there, as far as learning how to play every musical instrument. And his homie Evola was right there, to back that up. Like, yo, you give Jabari any instrument and he knows what to do with it. And I definitely applaud whatever church, he came up in, for giving him his music ability because, pardon me, his music ability because, it's definitely one of a kind. And, but besides that, he never even heard his first hip hop song until he was in high school. So he was about 15. And his first hip hop song that he heard was Kanye West. Devil in a Red Dress. One of my favorite songs ever. So from there, as we were doing the episode, as soon as he told me that, it was just like, damn, that's one of my go-to tracks for, just that beat is just crazy. The way Rick Ross came on, it's just, he killed it. And, everything Ye was talking about on that song, every man went through. So, yeah, he told me that his homie let him borrow that album, and, which was, My Twisted Dark Beautiful Fantasy, whatever, that Kanye West album, that classic, and the one he made in Hawaii when he allegedly broke up with Amber Rose, and he was going through all that, and he was flying producers out and writers out, and just had a squad out in Miami, and probably on Def Jam's budget, and from there they made songs like Monster featuring Nicki, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and just several songs. I remember when that album came out, like it was yesterday, because it was when I moved back to Philadelphia from New Jersey after MySpace, fell off, and it was around 2010, and MySpace was like completely done. It was a wrap. It was holding on for a second, but then it came to a point where like Facebook came and took it over. Pardon me, that's the squeaky ass chair, man. So yeah, that's one of the things we talked about in this episode, was that you can't depend on a platform to be the ones that hold all the information to all your fans. If you're dependent on Facebook or just any platform, period, whether it be a music platform, anything, then you're really slipping. You need to be getting every single person that you come across. You need to be getting that email address. Anybody you do business with, get their email address. This way you got a direct link to them at any given time, and that's something that I told Jabari and my man Aid that happened to me back in the MySpace days. I had 2 MySpace sites. I remember like it was yesterday. It was I forget exactly the year. It was probably like 07, 08. And I had just came home from prison, and what was I? If it was 07, 08, I was 22, 23 years old. I had just came home from Annandale, Mountain View Correctional Facility in New Jersey, and I went out to Belcoville, a small town right outside of Atlantic City, probably like 45 minutes outside Atlantic City, and not even like a half hour. And it's all Atlantic County. But in Belcoville, the state police patrol that little spot. And the police barracks was about 45 minutes away from Belcoville. So if something went down, it was going to take a minute for the state troopers to get there, because they're usually on the expressway on Atlantic City Expressway, just, pulling people from Philly over, like they did me in October. But my lawyer, told me not to speak on that. I mean, he gonna bring up my lawyer's name and all that, because, that's nothing to be proud of. That, I paid so much for an expensive lawyer. It's nothing at all to be proud of. I'm still fighting the case, and I ain't gonna bring up the charges, because, basically it was possession with intent to distribute. And I'm gonna just say I'm not guilty. That's all. But anyway, not more shit. Nah, yo. Yeah, shout out to my homie that introduced us, because like we got it into it. Like I started asking him how he felt hip hop may influence him in a negative way. After that, after he listened to hip hop, because like I said, he was in high school when he listened to hip hop. Before that, he was in church all of his life. So I noticed that he was spitting bars and singing about drug use and being in them situations. So it was only right that I had to ask him, and he spoke up like a man. He admitted to trying some things, and he said he pushed the brakes on it, ASAP, as soon as he realized it even could be a problem. He pushed the brakes on it, and I respect him for that. So, with that being said, what else we learned from that? Or they put me on to some stuff, to put the albums out a month before, just to, make sure people know the exact date, just give them a roundabout. Because when you give them an exact date, if it don't line up right on that exact date, because as we were talking about, just with Spotify and putting albums out on all these different platforms, with this new distribution deal I got for the next year, and through BeatStars, and we were talking about how petty it is, as far as I wanted to make my tracks. The titles be Your Type Beat, track 1, Your Type Beat, track 2, cause I've been saying that Your Type Beat shit, and I see other producers trying to jump on it now, and they might even have a bigger name than me. So, you jumping on it, that's cool. As long as I know I was the first one with it, you know what I mean? It's like clothing. And so just give your fans a roundabout of when you're going to drop, just so you don't look crazy. So, and what else I learned? I learned to stop saying bull and John and nah I mean so much. And that's something big that I've been working on. And it's just, nobody's trying to listen to somebody speak and just keep on hearing them say, yo, the bull was with that. Because not everybody's from Philly. Not everybody gets that slang. And so I realized that I got to cut back on that. And because they were from Florida, Broward County, the home of Ace Hood. And so they ain't really understand what I was saying when I'm saying the bull and the John and, nah I mean, like they don't know. So I just had a whole different slang, and I thought that that's why you never, judge a book even by its the lyrics or the music, because listening to the bars, I would have thought that, I would have never thought that Jabari sounded like that when he talked. And, that's just how it is these days. Back in the day, usually, like, not however exactly you spit, but, like, your voice was, like, comparable to what it sounded like on your song. It wasn't, like, all auto-tuned up and, like, you can't even, tell it's the same person. It wasn't like that. So, I noticed that that's a big difference that went down from my generation to the generation. Because at the beginning of the interview, like, we compared my generation to the generation and what we had to do to, to get into the studio and, put our mixtapes out and all that. And it was just way different back then than what we had to do to get the instrumentals and to get on these beats and to get DJs to actually play these records. It was just way different back then. It wasn't no you just uploading something and posting it and getting your people to post it and you're gonna blow up. Nah, it wasn't like that. Also, I learned I learned a lot of stuff about podcasting. I learned not to cut off my guests. Let them speak. Because I'm going to always have my time to speak. Because this is my podcast. So, like, while the guests are there, let them get their thoughts out. And as long as they're keeping the podcast positive and they don't get off track from learning and growing, as well as teaching and knowledge and wisdom and understanding. And it's all about love, peace, happiness, freedom, justice, and equality. That's pretty much all I can ask for, is that you just keep it on topic. We're learning and we're growing. We ain't with the nut shit, like, part of my language. We ain't with the nut stuff, like, everybody else can keep all that. We're about building $1 billion business from the straight hood, and like I don't know if y'all hear, like I'm from the straight hood. Like it just is what it is, and so you know what else? Oh, I learned you gotta have a team in this game. You gotta have a team that you can trust, and what else? A team that excuse me, a team that a team who you can work with and get shit done with. Having a team that you know is ready and willing to do whatever to help the company, and when they're there to help the company during them long hours, you know, when you know an album might be dropping and something got to be mixed right away, and you know tracks got to get uploaded on the ASCAP, and just everything got to just get uploaded right away, and you just need extra people there, and you just need them extra laptops to be working for you. They're the people that you need around you. That's going to be ready to grind it out, knowing that you know you put your blood, sweat, and tears in this album, so they're going to help you do the same thing. And if they're your team and you come up, they're going to get rewarded. It's like that in the end. And it's pretty much as simple as that. And if you got a team that ain't on that type time, then you already know. You got to let them go. You got to let them know that you ain't got time for the friendship stuff. This is business. That's why, it's not always good to mix friendship and business. But them two, Jabari and E, they both had a chance to grow up together and turn the friendship into a business, and they somehow make it work. But today's the age group definitely it's just different. There's a lot of differences between now and then. Like today, just because you spit it don't mean you have to live it. And like that's what I'm learning, especially through this internet shit. It's like back when I was rapping, like when you spit it, you actually had to live it. Like if you were gonna come out on some backpack stuff, like you better just come out on some backpack stuff. And back then it wasn't even like, especially coming up in Philly, like if you wanted to battle and stuff like that, it was hard to be an MC, like exactly like Black Thought, and come out with songs like that when he was flowing with the roots and all that. It was hard to do that. You had to be a battle rapper, What else? Oh yeah, we talked about how today's younger kids get into the stock market real young, and we talked about how that's a great thing, and we probably talked about stocks, Bitcoin, and all that. We probably talked about that for about a half hour. We talked about the difference between long-term and short-term goals on the stock market. They kept up. They knew everything I was talking about. We were teaching each other. We were learning as we grow. And if you listen to that podcast, then you're going to learn, and you're going to listen, and you're going to hear exactly what it is that we learn. So everybody getting these vaccines all early and all, just be mindful that, you know, they have side effects, and that you know, prayers going out to my people out in Peru who got the vaccine shot, and you know, she said she wasn't feeling too good, and I haven't heard from her since. So shout out to her, prayers out to her. I hope everything's going good, and you know, I know she did get the vaccine out in Peru, and it was a Chinese vaccine. So it's crazy, man. The world is a lot of crazy stuff, because with these side effects and with these medicines, they're telling you right on there, like, you're not going to be able to sue nobody. You're not going to be able to have a lawsuit because you're taking it at your own will. They don't even know the side effects. So they're saying it right there, like, we don't know the side effects, so we can't even tell you whether or not it's going to have a side effect on you. So I would really, really, really be cautious. Moderna is one of the makers of the vaccines that's given out in America, and they're backed by government money. While the other two, Johnson and Johnson, and what's the other one, Merck, they're not backed by government money. So that's just something to pay attention to, because the government always wants to get their money back when they put in some money to a company, and they hurry up and get their vaccine passed through. You know, they're always looking to get their money. And it was a little bit weird. They let Merck's vaccine go through a whole weekend before, and then, you know, they came out on that Monday with it. So it's just real weird, you know. They might have been missing one or two things. Might have seen what Merck had in their thing, and then bang, just put it in there. You never know. I'm speculating. This is all speculation right here. But we were basically teaching each other to be open on the situation, and to focus on the vaccine that you are getting. And don't just go in there taking a vaccine just because your job told you to go get a vaccine, or just because this person told you to go get a vaccine. Really do your research on it before you go do that, because a lot of young people are just falling victim and just going right in line and just being told a bunch of things on the news. And a lot of this stuff, you got to really research for yourself and see if it's true or not, because the news, believe it or not, has an agenda. They have people that advertise with them and spend millions of dollars a year to spend advertisements on their TV shows. So you always see them pharmaceutical companies saying that they got this right during the news. So you think the news is ever going to say anything bad about anything that you're doing? Nah. Negative. Would you give up them millions like that and say something negative about them? Let's just be honest. So, yeah, I learned that looking back at the episode. And what else? Oh yeah, my man Jabari said something that struck home. He said, so back in the day, you weren't able to be yourself and be vulnerable in your music. And it was like a question that hit home, because it was like, dang, were we able to be vulnerable? And I told him nah, but that was a lie, because now that I go back, it was plenty tracks from back in the day where people was vulnerable on tracks, but in a different way, in maybe a hood way, like plenty of state property tracks like Oskino, You've Been Down Too Long, and Beanie, Sigel, What's Your Life Like, and all them songs like that, where they were vulnerable in them songs, and they were still hard, and they were still real, and they were still true to themselves at the end of the day. And the last thing I'm gonna speak on again is not dependent on YouTube to keep your subscribers for you. Not dependent on SoundCloud to keep your subscribers for you. Not depend on none of them. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, none of that. Because you've seen what happened to MySpace. It can happen to any one of them at any given time where it just falls off to bang. And now you're stuck with 100,000 people that don't even go on there no more. It happened to a lot of people during the MySpace days. And a lot of stuff repeats itself every 12 years. So I just want you to be, informed of that. So, you gotta learn as you grow. So, on that note, I'm out. I got some more of this insane OG, courtesy of my man. I'm out.